Good morning everyone. I thought I would do you a quick tutorial on how to make these fun 3D flowers. The pieces are cut out on the Cricut machine, and I've used the Close to My Heart Flower Market cartridge. Now the fun thing about these flowers, it's a two-part flower, as you can see. You can see it's a larger one I've got here already. Okay, so it's two parts, and depending on how big you set your measurement, it will always be the size of the base piece. It will then cut a coordinating smaller piece, but I want to show you how I got this dimensional flower. So this is the Versamat, as you know. It is grid lines on one side, but on the back is a stamping surface, and it's also perfect for embossing. I'm using the Close to My Heart embossing tool. You can use whichever one you prefer. I'm also going to use the embossing powder in the copper tinsel, which is a new colour, in the centre, but I want to show you how to get these dimensional flowers. So all you do is, because this is padded, any lines that you press in with your embossing tool on your cardstock are going to give a ridged effect. If you use a hard surface, it's not going to work the same way. So all I did is, starting at the center of the flower, I just drew, in inverted commas, with my embossing tool, those lines. So can you see, as I press down into the paper, the edges of the leaves are already starting to curl up. Okay, so here's a note to self. Don't press hard or too hard. You can always go over that line twice to make it curl up more, but don't push too hard, otherwise you'll push the tip of your embossing tool through your cardstock, and you don't want to rip your cardstock. So just push out gently, and there you go. It starts to curl it up. Can you see how curled it is? Now, to make it curl up even more, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing tool and I'm going to go round in the center. Can you see? Just by drawing those lines round and round and round, it almost stretches the paper fibers, and can you see it's already lifting up off the side? So here's the larger one that I did, and then here is the corresponding smaller piece, because I told you this flower is a two cut piece. Again, if you, on these smaller pieces, as you go down, you can really see the petals coming up. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drop of my liquid glass and put it in the center. What would we do without liquid glass, right? And then I'm going to lay that top piece, and I'm obviously offsetting it so that the smaller petals cover the joins between the larger petals. And again, you can go around and really push them together. You can lift these larger petals up a bit if you wish, because that liquid glass is wet, so it will pull them together a bit more if you really want to have a dimensional flower. And there you go. It's as easy as that. It makes such a difference having that additional dimension and texture to it. Now, as I told you, I used the new copper tinsel embossing powder in the center, but I didn't heat set it. The fun thing about this particular embossing powder is that the powder, where it's dull, is because it hasn't been heat embossed, but those copper flecks in it are glitter. So you have two options to use this. You can use it like this, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the dog hair from the bottom of it. I'm just going to put a drop of liquid glass in the center. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit bigger drop of liquid glass in the center because I want this really sparkly. I'm going to take my liquid, not my liquid glass, my copper embossing powder, tap the back of it to get any loose fibers off, and look at that. Now, I know there are still some flecks of powder on it, and when this is dry, you can go in with a paintbrush or just blow it and then take those additional little specks off it. They're not stuck down. They're just there. This will dry and this will dry flatter. And you'll say, well, Sarah, this small one is shiny in the middle. Yes, because when it was dry, I then put a second layer of liquid glass over the top to make it shiny, because I wanted to have the two color combinations. Now, if you wanted to heat set this, you can. You'll just use your heat embossing tool to melt the powder, and it would all go shiny. Like I said, I wanted that sort of double texture of it, or the double color combination of it between the dull and the shiny. So there's my tip for a Monday: how to dry emboss your veins into your petals, which will give it more dimensions, stop it being flat, and then gluing it together with liquid glass and then sprinkling that embossing powder on the top. So I hope you've learned something, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great Monday.